Gentlemen, we have called you together to inform you that we are going to overthrow the United States government. Do you still think that jet fuel brought down the World Trade Center? Does anybody else see a problem here? If the government has nothing to hide, why are they so afraid to answer a few questions? This story does not add up. Listen to me. Listen to your pain.
We must fight to regain our freedom, or everything is lost. Everything. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Now, I've worked in a lot of charity hospital systems. The big charity hospital in New Orleans, one of the biggest one in the country. And I can guarantee you it could be quite dangerous sitting in a waiting room. And it could be dangerous being in that hospital. Physical danger from being stabbed, shot, attacked.
They're hellish. And this point specifically, they admit that, hey, you're not going to get that surgery. Biden publicly wrote that, hey, if you're above 65, you don't get the eye surgery. Just get a cane, get some thicker glasses. You're not going to get a knee surgery. Here's a cane. I mean, sure, you've got access to health care in Cuba, but you can't actually get any good treatments. But expanding on that, Paul Watson was starting to get scared, and I've asked him to come on the show soon to talk about it, because for a month he couldn't breathe, was coughing, probably had strep throat or something. And what I didn't finish saying was, in my long-windedness, doctor, when he finally got in, they didn't do a swab, they didn't even check. They said, here's some painkillers. Kind of like our troops in the VA, when they have a collapsed disc or something, they just say, here's some Prozac. And now he doesn't know what to do and is still sick. He walked in and some nurse practitioner just said, here's some painkillers, pal. I mean, that's socialism. That's what they do.
Well, in the national health care system, you know, I've traveled to England and visited with the doctors there and talked to the people who are patients in this national health care system. And it's a lot like the military. You know, when I was in the military, if you were sick, you got what was called a cold pack. Now, cold pack had some over-counter decongestants and pain relievers and things like that. Everybody got the same pack. There was no individual treatment. There was no consideration, well, maybe you have pneumonia, maybe you have something else wrong. You just got a cold pack in this little brown bag. That's exactly what they do in the National Health Service.
That's what they did. He said they gave him a little pack with Band-Aids and prescription painkillers. He's like, listen, I need you to check and see what I've got. And he's still sick, doctor. I mean, can you imagine living under this?
Well, they won't do it. And if you die in the process, you're just a number. And this is what people don't understand about socialized health care. You are a number. You're like a Social Security number. You're not a real person. You know, if you get involved and lose your Social Security number, I don't care how many forms of identification you have, to the government, you're not real until you find that Social Security number. Well, that's what national health insurance is. You're just a number. Now, if your number disappears or your number is taken off the system because you die, well, that's not a real tragedy to the government and to the people running this system. It's just a group of numbers we have to remove because these people no longer exist. And I remember in England, they said people over age 55 can't get bypass surgery. Well, who needs bypass surgery? People over age 55. So essentially they were saying, we're going to kill off all the people that really need this heart surgery because it's going to save the system a lot of money.
And on average, they're going to take 10% out of everybody's paycheck. This isn't free health care. And now you don't get heart surgery, you don't get knee surgery, and you can't get to a private doctor, even if you have the money, unless they say you can. And Paul is now begging them to let him go see a private doctor. Can you imagine the bureaucrats having the power of life and death over you?
I'll give you another story from Canada. I talked to a physician in Canada, and he told me, he says, my father was in the hospital in Canada with a heart condition. The elevators do not work. He was required to walk up the steps, said he was dying in the hallway. There was no one around. And this is a physician. The son was a physician, and this is how they treated him. And he said the elevators commonly don't run in many of the hospitals here. Well, this is exactly what happened in the Soviet Union. In the Soviet Union, on their socialized system, they put the EKG lab on the very top floor of the hospital, and the elevators never worked. So heart patients had to walk up 5, 6, 7 flights of stairs, and a lot of them died on the way up there.
Amazing. Stay there. And again, they sucked the money out of you your whole life through the socialist system, and then they just don't give you the health care and keep it because they're a bunch of eugenicists. Dr. Blaylock's our guest. Stay with us. We're going to try to save some lives and stop socialism. And I remember reading the transhumanist and the globalist and the eugenicist under the bioethicist system say we're going to get rid of the Hippocratic Oath, no more, will not harm patients, and we're going to decide and have a utopian system, and Bertrand Russell and George Bernard Shaw, and how the socialists will decide if we live or not, and how they'll decide by the 8th grade if you're going to be killed. And now you got all these movies coming out about that, conditioning everybody that's going to be normal, that if you don't excel, you're dead. This is all planned. Because I read their own documents. It's not hidden. That's what's so frustrating. It's just they think you're dumb and won't read it, so it's all public, but not advertised. And now they come out, Paul Watson 3 weeks ago, writes an article out of the Bioethics Journal, linking to it, where they say kill babies up to 3. First it's up to birth, then it's up to 3, then it's up to 10, then it's everybody. Kill granny, cover of Newsweek. Simultaneously, there is no plan to have death panels, because they call them something else. Technically, it's not called that, but it is a death panel. And Bill Gates now admits it after it passes. By the way, they say the Supreme Court is set to go ahead and approve it. Well, of course, the insurance companies wrote it, owned by the big banks. It isn't liberals wanting to give you some health care. They want to take over health care so you can't buy it if you want it and kill you deader than a hammer. You'll all find out soon enough, though, all you that serve the system and love it. So all of that's going on, and people didn't believe it. They were like, this is satire. There goes InfoWars lying again. When Paul was linked to the journal, well, 2 days later, London Telegraph, Associated Press, others, but a lot of the publications said, this is good. Let's kill some healthy 3-year-old kids. My daughter just turned 4, but I can't imagine her eyes electric with life and awakening and understanding and discernment and creativity and discovery. And these murderous scum, I saw confirmed reports now where Pepsi won't let its shareholders stop putting baby fetal juices in as flavoring. That's confirmed. It's going to, and then last week Obama approved aborted babies for everything, healthcare products, cosmetics, because they got to compete with the Chinese market, and that's back in the news today. Men taking dead baby ground up pills so they can get erections, they think. That's in the news today. And I'm the bad guy because I'm against all this horror. I'm the extremist. I'm the bad man. Paul Watson, but Paul Watson's the bad man. See, first, people say it can't be true, kill babies. The state says kill babies, even if they're geniuses. People always say don't kill mentally retarded babies because next it'll be healthy ones. They're just like, skip all that, kill whoever we say. We're the state, we say die. And they target the unborn with these vaccines that they know is causing deformities, mental illness, and miscarriages. On record, they always knew till 3.5 years ago. It was in every insert, don't give a pregnant woman a shot. Now it's on the news. Pregnant women get extra because they're testing, telling you to get it, have the miscarriage, and get away with it. They're testing, murdering you. They're not quietly injecting black men with syphilis anymore and watching them die slowly. Or atomic soldiering, people, or letting children die with radiation poisoning, like they used to do in secret. Now it's just killing us out in the open. But the minute they admitted, yeah, we want to kill your baby after they're born, suddenly people went, that's reasonable. But I thought I was crazy. It wasn't real. No, it's real and it's good. Because those people are cowards, and they're scared deep down to the system, so they're going to accept anything. They're like, oh, I'm with you. I'll do it. Oh, yeah, kill babies. All of you that are going along with this, who think you're going to get away with stuff and keep being able just to operate it as usual, you're the ones that are ensuring your own destruction. I want to bring Paul Watson up. He'll be with us in the next segment. Paul, incredible job on this report and your other report on the locals not buying up in Wisconsin that this is earthquakes and that they think it's explosions, obviously probably some underground testing, who knows what it is, or the result of fracking. They also think they're doing a lot of CO2 pumping in the area, part of carbon taxing. You know, they've got deals where they can pump it back into the ground, saying it's evil, don't want plants to breathe it. Great job. That's up on the Drudge Report right now. But briefly, look, as hardcore as your article is, it's not hardcore enough. I want another one just with a hardcore, sensational headline, because this is sensational. I can't come up, Paul, with a headline hardcore enough for every system of tech coming out and all appliances wired to listen and track us. Paul Watson, what's a good idea for an article just giving people every piece of the puzzle?
I don't know, Alex. It'd probably take a long time. The main concern that I have is people just don't care anymore. If you're signed into Google, which if you've got any kind of account related to email or advertising or virtually anything, then you have to be signed into Google. It's virtually become the internet. And
now they quietly claim you waive your rights, so they're going to watch you over the camera built in. All the TVs are coming out with cameras built in, microphones, and they admit they're watching you in your house with an AI computer keylogging. Stay there. Because people are like, even though it's admitted, they're like, liar, they ain't got enough people to listen. Well, they got millions of people listening. They got computers doing it, creating text that's then data mined by the NSA. Stay there, Watson. I want to talk about this because it is highest level Illuminati religion. That's why they're so crazy. That's what they believe. It's why they believe they've got a race with all these antimatter weapons, genetic engineering, all of it, underground seed bunkers, DNA vaults all over the world. It is just crazy. And we are going to be breaking that down for you with the documents from the 1850s. Now, do I believe aliens are running all this? Christians would call it the devil. I don't get into that. I'm going to cover what the elite believe. And there's a reason Prometheus is making such a stir online, and everybody from Forbes to the LA Times is freaking out, saying, you know, science fiction with mystery is back. The only good science fiction movie in years has been something like, well, there's been some good ones, but like Children of Men. But that, too, is where they sterilize everybody. It's all about controlling of the genetics. And most of us are dead already. We've already had our DNA wrecked. That's on record from the lead and mercury alone they've put into the environment. We're one generation into GMO. Now they're going full GMO. In every mammal test of creatures that have a quicker life cycle, guinea pigs, rats, mice, sheep, you get 99+% total sterilization and deformity mutations. Generally, you think of deformities only happening in utero and developing in the first trimester. Really fantastic deformities. You know, it's 2 heads, you know, 5 eyes, 7 fingers, stuff like that, 2 hearts, 3 kidneys, another human inside a human, teeth growing on the pancreas. Oh, that's the type of deformities. You can go look them up. The list goes on and on. Another head inside a head. But with the GMO goodies, with the goodies that the global UFO Star Child cult has been giving us, in every mammal species, by the 3rd generation under this, they start mutating when they're born and after. And I mean eyeballs growing out, teeth growing out of the side, little heads popping out, hair growing out of the mouths, females with giant breasts, the males with no testicles. It's all the blessings of the New World Order. And they're going to give you all the other blessings. Oh, they're going to bless you like they blessed the troops with DU. How many troops didn't believe me and call in now and say they're coughing up blood and got cancer at 25 and their kidneys are failing and they've been diagnosed with diabetes and the DU, and they go into the VA and they say, here's some Prozac. They're like, but I'm coughing up blood and losing weight. There's nothing wrong with you, Jack. And if you complain, I'm going to put you on a list as crazy and have your firearms taken.